Hello, chat. What's up? Welcome back to another stream on my channel. I think it's been a really long time since I did a stream on my channel. On my channel in particular, the last stream was on 5th June. It's been 1 week, but the last proper stream I did on my channel, I think it was on 31st May. The other ones were restreams, co-streams, and all kinds of other streams. But we are back here after a really long time. Good to be back on my channel, and thank you, Krish, for pointing me out towards the right direction. I was indeed wrong. I thought it was Hikaru versus Bharat based on the chess.com/events cross table, but the chess.com/events not so reliable. So here we are, and we are in the quarterfinals of the Rapid Chess Championship, where Bharat qualified yesterday, where I did commentary on chess.com India, the channel. And yeah, Janvi, you're so up to date. I saw the end of Hikaru 11, but it's pretty impressive how much you follow. I think you should start doing the weekend chess. I mean, the chess this week instead of me. So yeah, this has been the Rapid Chess Championship. Meanwhile, in the French league, Arjun lost today. There was this brief moment when Arjun went to number 2 junior in live ratings. By the way, guys, Arjun has become number 1 in live ratings. In not just in live ratings, he's become number 1 in India in the Blitz ratings. I think that's incredible. He overtook Vishy this June, and he's the number 1 in the Blitz format. I think it's going to take a bit longer in the classical format. And Arjun and Nihal, they're playing in the French league right now. Arjun lost his game. He was black against Donchenko from Germany, and he kind of unnecessarily overpressed and lost that game. It's a bit of a pity. How many of you guys are following the French league actually? It's the French league. It's going on for the last week or two, and no, it's not going for the last week or two. It's going for the last 1 week, the last 4 days, the last 5 days, and uh, it's 4 rounds so far. Arjun has how many points? Arjun has 2 out of 4, and Nihal has 3.5 out of 4. Arjun is playing in board 1, Nihal board 2 for the most part. But yeah, Arjun is losing a ton of rating, and Nihal's doing well though. So it's always nice when you diversify like that, including the people you follow. Someone's going to win, even if someone loses. And that's been the case uh, with my students in general and my chess career. When something goes wrong, there's always something that steps up. So here we are, the French league. Wow, Nilanjana. How do you do that? Like, what do you guys use to follow? What are the platforms that you follow on? I know there's 2700chess.com, there is chess results, but you kind of don't get auto updates on those things. So it's so easy to miss out on certain tournaments. I have no idea where Samay is mastering chess. Vidit is playing a tournament in Prague, and yeah, he's not had a great start. He has 1.5 out of 4. They had a rest day today, this Sunday. Vidit, Harikrishna, and Shashikaran, they're playing in Prague right now. And Vidit and Harikrishna are playing in the Masters, Shashi in the Challengers. Harikrishna is leading the tournament after 4 rounds, kind of in the halfway. 5 more rounds to go. They had a rest day today. And Harikrishna looks like he's a strong favorite to go through. Really, is Gukesh playing in the French league? I don't see him anywhere. Uh, I don't see him. I think maybe you got confused by the picture, Jay. I know, right? I know. Hari Krishna's last game, it was epic. It was insane. And I was commentating on that game on chess.com India. And I thought it was pretty similar to this Bahubali story. There were these two knights, and then there was this one knight which did all the hard work, and then the other knight swooped in to deliver the checkmate. It was a pretty good teamwork by Hari. Amazing stuff, and a very, very, very instructive end game by. It was a very instructive end game by Hari Krishna. So amazing, amazing stuff. Mastering chess, I'll look into it, but it's pretty time consuming. And if only I had an extra week, if only I had double the time that people had. I know one. If only I had a nice editor who could do that for me. Yes, Jay, it is Leon Mendonca. Gukesh, I think, is resting, getting some well-deserved rest after a lot of tournaments. He's been very busy, and he's done an amazing job in all the tournaments that he's played. So I think he's getting some well-deserved rest out there. So we are back here for the the chess.com Rapid Chess Championship. We are still waiting for the quarterfinal to kick off. It hasn't yet begun. The third quarterfinal is going on between Botnik and Sarana, and the first game has ended in a draw. So we are going deeper into the tiebreak, and we are waiting for the Bharat game to begin. But Chad, what do you think? Do you think Bharat stands a chance this time? He's playing against Andreikin, and Andreikin has been a bit of the Indian killer in the Rapid Chess Championship. He defeated Arjun in one of the knockouts. He defeated Raunak in another knockout. So he's been the he's been that boundary between the Indian players and the winning the Rapid Chess Championship. So who do you think is going to win the quarterfinal between Bharat and Rikin? So Bharat and Rikin. It's a good point, Janvi. But in any case, I have put it out on the poll, so you can let me know your thoughts. And uh, yeah, do let me know your thoughts on the poll. I was just checking my WhatsApp. It's been crazy, insane stuff with all this Olympiad stuff going on in the background. And y- the thing is, one has to be on all the time. You have to be available all the time and manage it with all the other work you're doing. The chess work, and then there are a lot of these non-chess aspects, a lot of just communication and coordination, just talking to different people, making sure everyone is on the same page, and doing this all online through WhatsApp and Zoom. And I can understand it's challenging to do this purely online as opposed to everyone being at one place. I feel that it's so much easier to communicate when people are there out there in real life compared to just Zoom and WhatsApp. And this used to be very easy to manage during the pandemic when everyone was home. Everyone was near to their device. Everyone was responding instantly to messages. But now with different people doing different things in life, it's a lot more challenging. I don't know about the tickets, Madhusudan, but right now the immediate thing in the agenda is the torch ceremony. It kicks off on 19th, and I'll be there at Delhi on the opening ceremony. And before that, I'll be commentating on the candidates. By the way, any thoughts on candidates chat? Who's your favorite? Who are you rooting for? Are you rooting for any particular person? How much is the intrigue towards candidates? First of all, with no Indians playing, are you guys interest? Are you guys curious to follow it, or would you just be checking the results from time to time? You want to keep in touch, but um, not ball to ball or move by move. Uh, which who are you rooting for? Is it like that कि higher rated player will play on board one only? नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है Jay. Any person can play in any board. It's like the batting order in cricket. You have these openers and the one down batsman and everything, but Virat Kohli can come ahead of Pujara. Rahane can come at number three. It's very flexible, and sometimes even Ashwin can bat at number three. So it's pretty flexible that way. You have a general board order, and then from there on, it's a bit limited. You have to you can only go you can change only one board order. Like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and within this you can have a combination of 1, 2, 3, 4. And the board number two can play on board number one only if the board number one is rested. So you can't change like that also. I know, right? I know chest. Nihal is doing quite well, and class is permanent, and Nihal is incredibly strong. So that is one of the things that makes the B team super strong. They have all these players. There's Gukesh, there is Prag, and Nihal, and all three of them about 2650. And then they have Raunak and Adivan, who are lower rated right now, but we know how capable they are. We know how they can really punch higher than what their current rating is about. Uh, Swapnil, I'm not really concerned about Vidit. I think he's been in pretty good touch overall this year. Some pretty promising signs in Tata Steel, good signs in Grand Prix, and promising results here and there. The main problem with Vidit is you can't have demigod expectations, and I think the biggest problem with fans with regard to Vidit has been the incredibly high expectations that they have, and that is the reason why I think he kind of keeps falling short. Whereas, for example, with Vishy, we have. We are just curious to see how well he will play, and we celebrate each victory. The expectation levels is not as high as it used to be, understandably so, but our feeling of contentment and discontentment, it has a lot to do with the expectation levels that we have towards that particular person or particular event. And Chesty, I think Arjun is struggling because he's trying a bit too hard. Uh, he sets himself these lofty goals, and when it goes through, it all falls through perfectly. But when it falls short of his own expectation, then it leads to disappointment. That's what happens, which is why in all different things we have to manage our expectations very clearly, especially when it involves things with other people. But it also counts when it involves only us. So it's important to manage that expectation, especially with regard to goal setting, and it's important to keep the goals dynamic. I think there's pretty good chances, Gaurav, for a medal. Gold will be a bit challenging for any team, including the USA. If you see, it's not the Olympiad is a Swiss tournament; it's an open tournament. So different teams play different sets of 11 other teams. It's not the same for everyone. It's not uniform. So there are a lot of things involving chance. The pairings playing this particular team in particular round, sometimes the chances element coming down to this one particular game, there are just so many random elements. So I think winning the gold, it's like a 20% chance at best for any team in the Olympiad, including USA, the strongest team. It's impossible to guarantee these things, and once again, it's useful to be pragmatic and be self-aware of yourself. That allows you to set expectations and goals in a balanced way. Congratulations, mastering chess. Yes, I saw Esipinko is also struggling in this tournament in particular. It's been unbelievable. He lost to a 2300 with black. Drew a 2300 today. He's dropped out of the number two junior. And for a few brief hours, Arjun was the number two junior in live ratings. And I failed to take a screenshot. But somehow this number two seems to be cursed, jinxed, and every time an Indian goes to number two, they spend a really short time out there and then get kicked. So it's just it's a it's a very competitive spot right now. The number two junior. There are, I think, like 4 or 5 people around 2680, 2685. There is Esipenko, there's Arjun, Gukesh, Vincent Kima, and Hans Niemann. 5 of them between 2680 to 2686 live rating. Apart from USA, I think, yeah, Azerbaijan is certainly one of the top teams. I don't know about Poland. Uh, They are a pretty decent team. They have Duda and Wojtaszek, true. But I don't know if each person is sending their best teams either. So it depends on that. For example, France is not sending their best team. And Netherlands, they have Anish, true. And then they also have Jordan. Basically, any team that has 4 players above 2600 is a formidable team. It's not easy to beat because not easy to beat these players about 2600, and you get like 2 whites per round. These are your best scoring boards. It's not easy to strike with black all the time. And with white, you need to be, yeah, you have your best chances with white, but you have only these 2 games. And these 2600 GMs, many of them can hold, they're very solid. So it's pretty challenging to beat any team with 4 players over 2600. And well done, Anshika. Well done. Good spelling there. 2 teams from India because India is one of the host countries. Meanwhile, guys, we have kickoff in the Andreikin Bharat game. So let's go there. We'll continue chatting, but let's also have a look at the games from time to time. Here we have it. Does the OBS canvas look good? It's been a while since I streamed. I kind of forgot a lot of these OBS related stuff, handling all these things. Hello, Arush. Guys, how do you like my new experimentation with the content in recent times, the chess this week, the daily dose of updates? Yay or nay? Do you think I should continue more of that? Do you think it should become a weekly feature? And if so, at what day of the week would you like to receive those updates? Thank you. Andreikin starts with the white pieces, and Bharat starts with the Sicilian defense. And right after move 3, Bharat is thinking. That's but yeah, this is 10 plus 2. And no chess DR. No, it can't be 5. Certainly can't be 5. The maximum you get is 3. So you have one main country, the host, and one additional team, the B team. And then if there is a odd number of entries, then there will be a third team. Monday to meet the Monday Blues, and every Sunday, yeah, noted. I'll try to. So the next few weeks it's going to be a bit tricky with the candidates, but I'll put something every week for sure. The day of the week I'll try to keep in mind Sunday or Monday. And then as we go towards the Olympiad, I might have to stop it for a few weeks. And then once the Olympiad is over, I think there'll be a big sigh of relief, and we'll all hopefully be celebrating together out here. Hopefully. I'm optimistic and I'm really motivated. Post candidates, I think it's going to be like 100% attention on the Olympiad chess part. There's just going to be camps, and it's going to be a continued interaction with the players. And I'm super motivated, super excited. So are the players. Some of them playing Olympiad for the first time, some of them being India number two for the first time during the Olympiad, and all these things. So everyone very excited and motivated. You have to be careful too, because Arjun was super motivated for this French championship, but it backfired for him. So it has to be a bit of balance. You have to bring in that balance, and many times things work out for Arjun because of this fire, because of this burning intensity. But sometimes it also becomes a distraction when you have this external goal, and it affects your objective play. Sometimes it makes you seek more in a situation where there is really nothing. And this can be dangerous. Then you lose sight of reality. And in chess, when you make bad moves, there is just no, it punishes you badly. In life, when you make bad moves, sometimes you don't even know it's a bad move. I have no idea what is it, or what are you talking about? Hard to leg, automatic leg. Do I think Arjun will cross 2700? I don't know, to be honest. It seems a bit tough given where he's right now. It's certainly possible, but I don't think it should be out there. I think it's better if it stays somewhere in the background. And it will certainly help having players off social media for sure. The distraction and the pressure is going to be enormous. So the more away they are, the more better it will be for them, because it doesn't really help to, you know, like for example, it's like climbing a mountain. And when you're climbing a mountain, your attention is towards the path in front, and the external distractions and stuff, it's like people saying, oh, look down, look how far you have come, and look up, that is where you have to go, come on, look up, look up, look up. That's exactly how social media works while someone is climbing, and it's totally unhelpful, this distraction for the players. So it will certainly I think help if they stay in a social media bubble. Yeah. Yeah, it's not going to be easy to go past 2700, guys. It will be a different kind of challenge. They have already made a major leap, getting from about 2550 to 2680 post pandemic in the last 1.5 years. And it's not always going to be plus, 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 plus. So it sometimes it takes a bit longer. They also need rest stops, yeah. They can't keep moving up all the time against gravity. How's my time divided between Nihal and Arjun? Basically, it goes this way. I help them for specific tournaments. That's how things are right now. And aside from that, I help with general direction, general directions on what they should work on, what openings, and uh, the tournament choices and all these things. And in recent times, they have also become a lot more independent with these general things, which is really important, because the player needs to be independent. They have to be very good at sensing these things. They have to be very good at being able to sense their opponent and read their opponents. And the coach or whoever is in the support staff, they are just people helping out. They're just people assisting, making these like when the player is at something like 85%, 90%, the coach can make it to 95. But the player has to be exceptionally good in order to reach the top. They have to be especially good at being intelligent with regards to reading their opponent, understanding their strengths and weaknesses, and like Harvey Specter said in Suits, you play the opponent, not the game. And it's a very, very, very important component of any sport, especially chess, which is super psychological. So much depends on the mental aspect, the psychological aspect. So I think it's really important for someone to have this ability, and I think Magnus is someone who's brilliant at this. He's very good at reading his opponents. He's very good at understanding his strengths, his opponent's strengths, their weaknesses, where he should take them. And it's apart from being the best player in the world, I think he's clearly the best player in the history of the sport. Apart from that, he's also one of the most intelligent players, and that's the reason why Magnus is the number one, and in my opinion, the GOAT, the GOAT, the greatest of all time. I think it's clearly because uh, apart from being the best chess player, he's also the one of the most intelligent players around. And this was also true for Kasparov, by the way. Kasparov, when he was number one for many, many years, for several years, he also had a very, very, very strong understanding of his opponents. I'll tell you guys how this history went through. And when back in the 90s, so in the 80s, Kasparov was this young kid, much like how Alireza is right now. And Karpov was the world champion, like how Carlsen is right now. And then through the 80s, Kasparov and Karpov had this epic clashes, monstrous clashes, two of the best players in the world. There was Karpov, Kasparov, and everyone else much below. And gradually, initially Karpov was just crushing Kasparov, but with time, Kasparov caught up, and in the matches, he was a bit better. It was pretty close, but Kasparov just edged Karpov through in all these matches. He was just a bit slightly better. And by around 1990, Kasparov was the undisputed number one in the world. And then there was all these young kids, Vishy Anand, Ivanchuk, and Nigel Short, a bunch of very strong young players coming up through the ranks. And when they played Kasparov for the first time, some of them actually had pretty good score. They beat Kasparov a few times. Anand defeated Kasparov in this Regia Emilia tournament in 92. And when they went into this match in 1995, Kasparov and Anand played a world championship match in 1995. I don't know how many of you know that, and how many of you were alive back then. Guys, were you born in 1995? Before that, I was 1 year old at that time, and they played chess in the World Trade Center, the WTC. I think they played it really at a very, very high altitude, the WTC World Championship match between Kasparov and Anand. And when I say WTC World Championship match, it shows the World Test Championship in cricket, 1995. Let's try that out. Yeah, the Classical World Chess Championship. It was in the World Trade Center, in which there was an attack a few years later, which changed the history of aviation. But in 1995, I just wanted to understand which floor they played in. It was something like the 90th floor, 107th floor of the South Tower. They played chess at the 107th floor. So imagine that. Imagine playing chess all the way at the top. If there was an electricity failure, if there was an elevator failure, they had to walk down 100 floors. That's how insane it would have been. Fortunately, I don't think that happened to either of the players. Uh, but yeah, It was a pretty intense match, and the first 8 games were a draw. The first 8 games was a draw. It was so tightly contested, so equal. And then in the ninth game, it was actually Vishy who won for the first time in the match. He scored 5, and Kasparov had 4 after 9 games. But then after that, things completely changed for Vishy. And Kasparov ended up scoring 4 wins in the next 5 games. Between games 10 to 14, Kasparov won 4 out of the next 5 games. And Vishy was just completely broken down by that point. His first world championship, relatively younger than Kasparov, and it was just one blow after another, one blow after another, like how you see in some of these action fights. And Kasparov ended up winning that match. And then I don't think Vishy won another classical game against Kasparov. I don't think that was that ninth game win against Kasparov. That was his last win in classical chess. After that, Vishy had a few wins in rapid chess, which was relatively less at that time, but no wins in classical chess. Guys, imagine that. That was the effect Kasparov had on one of the best players in the world, an all-time legend. And we know how amazing Vishy is. He was number 2 and number 3 for most parts of that time, that period. But Kasparov was, once he read his opponent, he just never let them dominate again. Only exception to this was Kramnik. But apart from that, he was never he dominated each and every of his peer like this. Not exactly his peer, but the up and coming players. So Vishy, Ivanchuk, he had a plus score against everyone. Nigel Short was up and coming. He was super strong, and Kasparov defeated him in the match at that time, and all these players. So that's what I'm talking about. As a chess player, it's very important to have this nuanced understanding of being able to read the game, being able to read your opponent. It's not just enough to make these really good moves. That's just one component. You reach a point where everyone starts being really strong. You reach a point where every opponent you face is at 2700, and these players at 2700, they have good openings, they have good understanding of chess, they have good calculation ability, and they have all their basics covered. They are very good at end games. They know a lot about chess, and they're usually motivated, they're usually working hard on chess. So everyone gets to that point, but there are also some other components like physical endurance and this one particular ability of being able to read what the game demands, read the opponent, and read what you need to do to get better, what you need to do to improve. So that was that, guys. And if you liked those stories, then do like the stream, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Let's talk a bit about this game. I've been watching the game from the corner of my right eye for a while, and I thought it would end in a draw, and there we have it. We have a draw in the first game. It's pretty equal, guys. The computer shows like 0.48, but that's probably because of the spawn, and it's pretty equal for the most part. 5 versus 5, 3 versus 3. Bishop into e4 is a good attempt, but white will get back the pawn after bishop b7 here, and one of the pawns is likely to fall. So I think this is pretty equalish. So let's get back to the second game, Bharat against Andreikin. This is a one-game elimination format. The rapid part is over. Now it's a Blitz format, 3+2. If this also ends in a draw, then it will be 1+1. And if that ends in a draw, we'll go all the way to the Armageddon. And kudos to Bharat, by the way, guys. It's already he's already taken it to the second game. Arjun and Ronak didn't manage to do that. And Bharat managed to defeat Ronak also yesterday. So kudos to that. And which eventually means kudos to me because I defeated Bharat in the last round of the title Tuesday last week. And answering this question about how Kramnik is a big fan of Vishy. I think everyone's a big fan of Vishy, guys, including Gary. He's look at his endurance. He came to the top of chess at around 1989, 1990, and it's 2022. How many of the people in the chat here were born in 1989, 1990? So his uh, his stay in the top of the elite chess is longer than the stay of most people in this lifetime. That's how amazing he's been. I think no one else has been able to match that level of endurance, including Gary. And it just comes down to Vishy's ability to stay enthusiastic and motivated, regardless of the circumstances. He has just been motivated, and he continues to stay curious. He continues to stay young. Stay young, stay foolish. Vishy is doing that. Live example. So everyone has incredible respect. Meaning something seems to have gone wrong for Bharat in this game. It was this Queen's Gambit decline, the good old QGD, and but with a move down, you but this bishop goes directly to f4. But here he allowed black this move h6. This allowed him to get this c5, but with tempo. And c d5 is a bad move here. He has to start with bishop e2, I think, because now I think there are some problems related to the development, and it makes it so much easier for black to get d4. So he starts with a3, spends the tempo on this, but now d4 is already a threat, and if black gets d4, he just equalizes. So queen f6, queen d2, and now d4, and white is just not prepared against this. Uh, he's just not prepared against this d4 thing. Why I didn't play the yesterday's qualifier? I was casting for chess.com India, and it's also not easy with the secure with the fair play regulations. I need to have a camera on my side here, so I need to set it up beforehand. It can't be like Title Tuesday where I just tune in anytime. And secondly, there is also a requirement for stream delay, part of the fair play regulations. Once again, something I'm not I need to plan beforehand. So I think those are the two things. But I might play the Rapid Chess Championship on July 2. That will be in between the candidates commentary. It also depends on my energy levels. If I'm really tired, I'm going to play badly. I don't want to do that. And Rapid Chess Championship is a monstrous event, as you know. This looks bad for. This looks really bad for Bharat, by the way. He shouldn't have let this pawn come all the way to d3. And now look at black's development. Knight d4 is incoming, and there's going to be bishop at f3. King is stuck in the center for the moment. Knight d4 has been played by Andreikin, and he's making these moves really fast. He has more than 3 minutes. Bharat, on the other hand, down to 10 seconds. He's clearly been outclassed by Andreikin, who is super strong, one of the best players in the world, especially in the shorter formats. Rook c8 once again. Now, Andreikin is really upping the pressure. He's really upping the pressure. Bharat has only 6 seconds, and sooner or later, there's going to be a move which will demand some very concrete solutions for white from white, and Bharat will not be able to cope up against it. So he just goes rook d8 with the threat of knight into f3, knight into d4, rook into d4, queen c2, queen to b1, and now f5 is super strong, and Andreikin plays it instantly. f5 is super strong because this bishop is trapped. Bishop d5 check, just rook into d5, just rook into d5, and it's game over. He's just down by a piece. Bharat has to resign. But even king h8 wins. He just goes king h8, attacking both the bishops at once. Bishop into f6 is just desperado. And now just he can take it. Yeah, f4 is also a threat. He's just playing moves now, but it's basically over for all intent and purposes. So yeah, it's it was a good fight by Bharat. He did an amazing job coming all the way till the quarterfinal and taking it to the second game. But it was, yeah, Andreikin just showing his class. And I have to once again say that I really admire Andreikin's chess. He's doing a fabulous job. He had some difficult life circumstances, people. When he played the Grand Prix in March, he had to literally leave the country with his whole family. He's from Russia. He had to leave the country with his whole family. He was playing the final, but his family was coming, I think, to Germany. That was where the March Grand Prix was, and he didn't play well in the final, or I'm not even. Yeah, he didn't play well in the final. He lost in the final, and I remember one of these kids asking me, "What could be more important than the final of the Grand Prix? Why? How would he not prioritize that?" And it was during that war situation. I had to explain that there are more important things in life than a chess tournament final. Um, there are more important life events. There, Andreikin winning this game and going through to the semis. So he had to. I think he had to like start a new life in a new country. I don't exactly know where he's right now, but I don't think he's in Russia. I think he moved away with his family, and that's an unimaginable thing, to suddenly uproot your life from somewhere and move with your family. It's kind of unimaginable for me to. It's kind of hard for me to even imagine changing my streaming setup to just move from one locality to another, and to imagine making that kind of a shift. It takes an enormous level of psychological adjustment, but Andrikin's done it fabulously well, and he's played really well since that event. So kudos to Andreikin, GG's to him, and great performance by Bharat as well. So kudos to both of them. So some of the other questions, Nihal is playing. Yeah, he's playing the Stephen Avagyan Memorial. So I think he will miss the last few rounds of the French league. And Aryan, yes, nowadays beating Magnus is an achievement. It was for sure. I think it was even magnitudes higher. It was kind of unimaginable for someone to beat. For someone below 2700 to beat Vichy. It was unimaginable. I think it's a lot more democratic now. Aryan defeated Magnus in the recent Norway chess, but those things didn't happen back in the time. There were a lot less occasions of such upsets because the pool of people playing chess was smaller. So when you have a smaller pool, the chances of an upset becomes lower because the chances of a freakish talent appearing is lesser, and because of that, the numbers are just smaller, so the probability is lower. Now the pool of talent has widened in chess. It has become more global thanks to internet, and chess is reaching a lot more people, but uh, it could still be better. It can still get a lot better. I think there'll be more and more pool of talents. We have these tournaments like the Global Chess Championship from chess.com, and a lot of events where you can, like for example, we had the MPL wildcards in the MPL Indian Chess Tour. So there's chess.com, there's chess24, and there is the opportunity for someone who's just starting out chess to, even someone who's just starting out chess to reach the ultimate level. So when the talent pool becomes larger, more and more people have chances. Something similar happened in cricket, by the way. Back in the days, there used to be a time when there were like 4 players from Mumbai out of 11 in the playing 11. It was so dominated by Mumbai because the talent pool was not diversified, and Mumbai kept winning the Ranji Trophy each year, and more and more players represented India in Mumbai, and it was just like this total domination. And then the talent pool started getting diversified, and we started having talents like MS Dhoni from Jharkhand. Literally, I think the one of the very few players to represent India from the state, but a freak talent who became one of the best cricketers in the history of the game. And similarly with chess, we keep having these. If we keep widening the talent pool, if it keeps becoming wider and wider, we are going to have more and more of these talents emerging. That's what happened with these Indian juniors, I think. The talent pool became wider, so we started having more of these amazing once in generation talents. And if that takes place at a global scale, just imagine if that takes place at a global scale, if every other country becomes like India, just imagine the kind of talent diversification we'll have and how competitive the sport will become. I think we might not have every country like India, but there will be a lot more countries. So back in the times, there was only Russia. Then we had China. Then we had India, and I'm pretty sure that will keep increasing. China is not playing Olympiad as of now, but there's still time. The last date is not yet over, so we never know. There is still time. It might still happen, and we don't have the full list of countries yet. I think the provisional list will also be out by sometime in July. So facts cover. The best thing you can do is try and participate in these chess.com India streams, and maybe you'll get lucky with a giveaway. Keep participating in the different streams, and there's a pretty good chance you'll get a giveaway because the competition is not so high there, and that's basically your best chance. Um, I don't know what you're talking about, Bharat. Who are you talking to, by the way? Why are you talking to yourself? Is everything good? Yeah, Janvi, number of players over 2,700 is significantly increasing below 30. The people are just becoming stronger, and overall the level is increasing. I think that's also down to uh, the diversification of talents and more opportunities. Uh, and it's become much easier to learn chess as a youngster uh, compared to how it used to be, compared to each generation. The learning has become easier and easier, and as a result of it, it's become stronger. It's become easier for people to, you know, get better. One candidate is yet to be. No, no, the candidates are all decided. You're talking about the candidates tournament, right? It's all pretty decided. And chat, do you think we should have a look at the Chong Levon game as well in the background while we uh, talk about other things? Yes, I don't think chess is a waste of time, but if you get too serious about chess, then it can be. Like it's like any other activity, you know. Like for example, let's say I take up running, and I want to get better at running. Now I'm never going to be able to run in the Olympic marathon, but I can improve my endurance. I can improve my health. I can improve my own well-being. But if I start competing, if I create an elo, and if I get crazy about getting better in running, if I get crazy about improving my speed, improving my endurance in such a way that it starts dominating this part, then I would end up ruining my life. So I think it's very important not to uh, get too attached to it. Just do it like an activity where you have fun, but if you get too serious about it, then it can be dangerous. I think chess certainly has an effect in terms of improving overall thinking patterns. Uh, I think uh, I think it does. What do you think, chat? Do you think chess has a correlation with improving your thought patterns in general? It certainly does for me. Even when I play chess from time to time, it reminds me of a lot of things. Can ASF do something to help youngsters like Arjun Gukesh? I don't think that's ASF's job. But what ASF can certainly do is make things more interesting. The format, the way chess is organized, the way chess is played. Today, IPL guys, did you see the value of the TV broadcast of IPL? Did you see the uh, value? It was 43,000 crores for the next 5 years, and this is only in India. Uh, and this will make cricket the second most valuable league worldwide. It was yeah, 5.7 billion dollars the media rights uh, at the end of day one, and this is for 5 years, but only for the Indian market. And let's if we think about it, although IPL is not interesting for everyone, I don't watch it myself, never did, but cricket has worked hard to get to that place where they make it so interesting and gripping for the viewers. Every minute is interesting, every second is interesting. There's just so much intensity, and that's because of the hard work that cricket has done to get there. First of all, they care to make the sport attractive for the people watching, because if the people eventually sports people are performers, right? And they perform for the people who are watching. So it's very important to take the people into account, the chat, so to speak. And the chat has to like the content. That's also important. And the sport has to be designed in that way. And if that happens, then the sponsors will come rolling in. So this is exactly what we need to work towards as a sport. We need to make the game more attractive. It's not about sponsorship for Arjun. It's not just sponsorship for Gukesh. Gukesh. It's not just one person. Of course, that's also important. They also need to be well taken care of. They also need to have prosperous futures, because that's very important in terms of setting example. Uh, but it's also from the organization point of view, their job is to make the format more attractive, and if the format is more attractive, then it will eventually flow down to the players. And I think that's what yeah, IPL was interesting before the lockdown. Now chess is way more fun. But again, what's the favorite format of chess that you have watched so far, Chad? This is really interesting. So we have had some different formats post lockdown, and I saw a lot of interest in the recent classical tournaments, especially the Norway chess, the Prague Masters. So what has been your favorite format to watch? Is it, oh, I wrote which to watch. Is it classical chess? Is it the JSCC format on chess.com? The CCT format on chess24? Or, yeah, SCC is better. SCC is better. And the final one is uh, there's the classical chess, yeah, and then the OTB Rapid Blitz, like GC. This is going to be a fun poll, and maybe I'll also put this on Twitter later. What has been your favorite format to watch post lockdown? Out of all these four types of format, which has been your favorite format to watch, to observe? Do let me know in the poll out there. Lot of chats, but do let me know in the poll as well. Preet, yes, something like the player contracts is something, it is a way forward, but right now, most of the top players are employed in the oil companies, IOC, ONGC, BPCL. So it is a kind of player contract. They don't really have to go there and work. It's a kind of honorary job kind of a thing. So there is some financial security. It doesn't make them rich, but it gives them security that it won't make them struggle as well. And aside from that, player contracts is the way to go for sure in the long term. But for that, you have to have a lot of money yourself. And All India Chess Federation, they don't have that kind of money. They are dependent on the ministry grants and stuff. Most of the national sports federation, except BCCI, they rely on the ministry grants. And before we get to the player contracts and stuff, the National Sports Federation has to be self-sufficient. They have to have revenue. They have to have a source of revenue, and then they distribute the revenue to the different stakeholders, like the employees, the players, and the different people who are part of the system. So we are just starting there, and it will take some time for us to even get to the stage where cricket was in the 90s. It will take some time for that. And the IPL revolution happened in 2008. So that's a different, that's, I think, sometime in the 2030s. Not going to happen right now. Wow, 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 Neelanjana. Office watch party. The Kerala faction was allowed a slightly lesser workload after Nihal's loss. Wow. I think Nihal would be happy to know that. And even better, there should be school holidays after one of these kids losing. That would have an impact on chess being popular. That would make chess at least incredibly popular among the school students. Lovely, lovely, Janvi. Yes, I'm also part of these WhatsApp groups for chess enthusiasts, where people discuss all kinds of stuff. And in the chat, it's pretty even. Yeah, there's no clear consensus. Only thing is, OTB Rapid Blitz event like GCT that has the least. So maybe it's time to do away with the OTB Rapid and Blitz and just have classical over the board or online speed chess. Yeah, maybe. But it's amazing that classical chess is on par with the speed chess championship and the CCT format, because I personally felt that the speed chess format is the most attractive, because there's something is happening all the time. The format is very interactive and intensive. So I'm very surprised that the poll is so even. This is, of course, a limited sample size, so I'm going to run this on Twitter pretty soon. But amazing, amazing, amazingly close. Amazingly close. Nice, 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 Maharshi. So, are you guys going to follow the candidates tournament that I'll be covering? Someone asked who was my favorite for the candidates. I think I would love to see Hikaru go through. I think I said this somewhere else too. Hikaru, I kind of feel I feel more closer to him. He's not young, and he's certainly he's also a streamer first and foremost, a content creator. So Hikaru doing well, I think it kind of sets a good example that you can also do other things and you can still be good at chess. And I think that will be a great way forward for chess in general. So Hikaru is a bit of a favorite. Ali Reza would also be awesome, I think, in terms of the Carlsen Ali Reza match, but it feels a bit early for Ali Reza. 2 years too early. But having said that, with such once in generation talents, it's never, uh, you never know. You can never rule them out. So, yeah, I think that's the Those are my top two favorites. What about you, chat? What about you? And I think it's time for me to go to sleep. So I'll end the stream pretty shortly. It was a pretty short stream, but I'll be back tomorrow at 11 p.m. to discuss a new platform with you guys. It's called Immortal Game. So there's this platform called Immortal Game, and I'll be introducing that to the chat tomorrow, sometime around this time. It's can we have something like Bundesliga in India? In progress, work in progress. It will come. But yeah, it was amazing getting back with all of you. I will should I end, I think it's a good time to end the poll. Maybe I'll wait for four more votes. So we have 50 votes. It's 46 votes now. Pretty sure good chances we'll have four more votes, and then we'll end the poll, and then we'll end the stream, and catch you all tomorrow. But it was a lot of fun getting back with all of you guys, and it's a pity that I'm not able to spend as much time streaming as I used to. It's a pity. It used to be amazing times during the lockdown, streaming every day once upon a time, and we used to have such a nice connect. But I understand it was not such a rosy time for everyone else, and it was a tough time overall. But the thing is, it was also a lot more connected. Now it's a lot more busier, and the stream times have become like a few hours per week. But it's still nice to be able to come once in a while. It's still nice to be able to be connected, and would love to keep this going as long as I possibly can, practically. And thank you so much, chat, again for sticking through. We have 50 votes. I'll end the poll on this, and I'll see you all tomorrow. So see you guys. Bye bye. Thank you so much. Good night. And understandably, SAC on top, CCT second, classical chess and OTV still 40%. Not bad at all. Ashil, no question of value. I'm struggling to just find enough time for chess despite doing chess all day. It's just so busy these days for everyone, including myself. But yeah, thank you so much, chat, and see you all tomorrow. And also on Tuesday, I'll be doing the Title Tuesday stream on chess.com India or my channel, whichever way. But either way, I'll be playing, and yeah, so that's going to be the schedule this week, and then we'll dive right into candidates. I'll have to manage candidates and the torch ceremony, find some way to make both the things work. That's kind of a miniature version of how life is these days. You have to just manage everything, and I'm just trying to do the best I can. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. See you all. Bye bye. Thank you, and love you all. Good night.